All right. Welcome to Capital Culture. I'm your host, Christopher Wheeler, and today we have a very important show. But if you've been liking the interviews, please make sure to like and subscribe. But right now, let's get back to the main event of the evening. We have a very special guest. We have Mandia with us.
Hello.
How are we doing?
I am doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good. You know, I've been following you for quite some time, and I feel like your time is soon. So I wanted to make sure to have you on the show. You're a singer-songwriter, all the way from A Fractured Fairy Tale to now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Exactly.
True.
That's a long way since that project, eh?
Yeah.
So I'll start off with a simple question for you. Who is Mandia?
Mandia is a singer, songwriter, a pop R&B singer.
Mm-hmm.
I also own a lip gloss line.
Okay.
I'm a down-to-earth girl that's been doing music for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's who Mandia is.
So you just touched on doing it for quite a long time. Do you remember the day you wanted to take it seriously, and when was that for you?
Yeah, I actually do. I was in the shower and I came out from just singing probably a whole concert in the shower. And I told my mom, I don't want to do dance anymore. At the time I was doing dance. And I told her I want to stop dance and I want to sing. And she was like, well, listen, we just paid the whole season of dance. There's no way you're going to switch now. So after that, I started taking lessons. And from then on, I just realized I was really good at a young age. I was always moving from different teachers. I was always winning all my competitions. So it was just something that always came very natural to me.
Speak on the competition. So you were in a lot of singing competitions at a young age.
Yes.
I know you won a competition to meet David Foster.
Yes,
but
yes,
your
yes.
parents went?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
That was actually me. That was me. I was just a young girl, just like applying to, you know, those online contests where you just put your emails. So I had just put an email in and we actually won. And I was trying to tell my parents, like, no, like I signed up for this, like we won. And they were like, it's a scam. And I'm like, no, guys, we won. You guys just won a trip to, I believe it was Miami. Flights paid for, hotel, everything. So I couldn't go. I was too young. It was a party. Celine Dion was there. It was a big event. And yeah, my parents went basically on behalf of me. And they, at the time, I had just like CDs. Yeah, I was so upset, but there was nothing we could do. They brought CDs and they were just like giving them to people there, mingling while they were there. And yeah, I ended up meeting a producer from Chicago shortly after that they had met. And I started working with him, and that's when I started recording real music, writing music, and being in the studio, and that was at the age of 13.
Wow, so that's quite young. So I kind of want to hone in on the age. Were your parents kind of apprehensive of you going into the music industry, as volatile and as kind of nasty as it is for young women? We see what happens to young superstars when they get in too early. So were they a little bit nervous that their daughter was
yeah, for sure. That was a huge struggle growing up. My parents were super protective over me because it's a lot of sharks in the tank and you're throwing your daughter in there, right? So it was really hard growing up, but I think they guided me really, really well. So I have a good head on my shoulders, and they just taught me to be smart with everyone in the business.
What was their biggest fear and your biggest fear when getting into this industry?
To be honest, I didn't really have any fears. I never had any fears. I think their biggest fear was probably, I mean, a lot of things, being taken advantage of, the men, definitely, that's a big one. Yeah, those are the two big ones, just being taken advantage of, because there's a lot of people in this industry that want to say that they're something that they're not. It happens all the time.
Now, you're from a small town. Speak about trying to manifest yourself as a musician from a small town and how you've gone about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, take a drink too. It's been a tough battle.
Yeah, it actually has. Yeah.
So talk about that.
I think for me, it's been hard being in Ottawa doing music, but I mean, there's social media nowadays, so whatever you're portraying and putting out into the universe, it's going to come back to you. So I just think that honestly, just staying positive, being consistent, doesn't really matter where you are. I think consistency is key in this game.
So, other than consistency, what were some of the avenues you used to market yourself? Because you have quite a huge following. Congratulations. I think you're
Thank
100,000
you.
Instagram followers, and you're
Yeah.
doing quite well on YouTube views
Thank
and
you so
whatnot. So,
much.
how did you tackle that, and a little bit more systematically, if you will? Did you use, was it through TikTok? Did you use a certain DSP to get that going?
No, actually, I just had a lot of, my parents were really great with surrounding me around the right people. So from a young age, I always had the best of the best. I always had publicists, I had radio promoters, I was doing shows. And still continuously to this day, those are the main key compartments that I think a lot of people don't realize. Because look, it's great to have social media, but you can't just drive everything through social media. You've got to get people on a day-to-day basis, and that's where maybe publicists come in handy. Radio is another one. Spotify playlist is another one. Yeah, just making yourself known and putting yourself out there, even if it's the small little events where you're just meeting people. I think those are key, and I think they're also undervalued. They're undervalued. People should be doing a lot more of that.
So let's touch on you seem like you've always had, or you're quoted as in one of your past interviews as saying you've always had the best of the best. Getting to where you are in your career now, how is your team, and how did you go about building it right now? So who's your biggest supporter, and why too? I'll add that in there too.
Okay. My biggest supporter right now, I would say still to this day, are still my parents, just my family. I'm a really big family girl, and there's a lot of people in my family along my journey who've helped me, from my uncle who would like help do my websites at some point. Like there's so many. My aunt, she's a hairstylist, so you know, there you go. Every time I would do a video, she's doing my hair. So there was a lot of, family was very key to me to help my movement. And then another thing is also finding people that you can trust. There's certain writers that I like to work with, in particular, just because I know that maybe they understand my sound, and that's another thing. Maybe it's hard to find people who really understand who you want to be. You know, everyone has these great ideas, but it's also got to work for you. So I just think finding genuine and key people in the industry is super, super important.
So you just mentioned, because I have a lot of artists come on here, and then generally in some genres they'll have people help them writing, but they're not so open to it. In your pop lane, or let's say top 40 lane, you're open to having writers. Speak to fans or young artists at home, what the process is like to work with a writer to help you get a song down. Even I'm curious to know.
To be honest, I was that girl back in the day where I was in my room just writing my own songs, so I learned to do that. But then the more that I started working with, around 17, 18, I started working with, when I say the best of the best, I was working with some of the best songwriters in the world to this day.
Few names?
So James Fauntleroy, 1500 or Nothing. Yeah, the list goes on with the kind of people that I've worked with and the caliber. So with that being said, I think when you work with the best, that's how you become the best. So there's a lot of things from a young age that I learned that were key, and I think have impacted my songwriting today. There's definitely a lot of things that I've picked up. You always will learn from someone, every experience that you have, right? So maybe you don't like certain things, but there's some things that you'll also be able to pick up and use for the future.
Okay, so let's talk about some actual music of yours going into 2022. Do we have projects planned? What can Mandia fans at home expect? What's on the burner for you?
Yeah, I have, during the pandemic, I have created pretty much a whole project, which I'm super excited to release. I think I'm going to kind of drop it slowly, but the first thing that you can expect to see is going to be my new single. It's called One of the Boys. I'm shooting, I
like the name already.
Thank you. I'm shooting a video for it actually in a couple weeks, which which I'm really excited about.
Okay.
And then I'm pre-planning. All my music is done, and I think that's why I haven't been in the studio.
It's been pretty quiet on your front since
I've been
around
working.
June, July last year. So I was kind of like, why the gap?
I was working so hard. I was in the studio more than ever. I created some of the best music I've made in my life. So, and during the pandemic, I realized like I can really write songs. So, that's what's coming up.
Why should fans care about your journey in 2022? Little tough question there, but I feel like you can handle that.
Yeah, I think the music is just good.
What would you classify the sound as?
I would classify the sound as pop R&B.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, at this stage in your career, if you could go back and change one thing, what would it be?
If I could change one thing in my career, that's a really hard one because you never want to regret anything. But I think it would be a lot of the youngness that I had in my older projects.
Okay.
Because I always was very mature and I always had a vision of what I wanted to make. But I think because I was on Family Channel and I had this really great market, I kind of had to be young for that. Obviously Family Channel has a lot of restrictions, and I never really wanted to be that.
Were you on shows in that, or were you? Because I know
they would
Family
play
Channel,
my music videos.
in between. Okay, I remember that was 52.
Yeah.
So you were being featured back in the day.
Yeah,
Okay.
so because I had such a big audience there that I created, I wanted to stay within that lane, but also, to be honest, it just wasn't the music that I kind of wanted to be making. It was good music, but it just wasn't the genre that I wanted to do. It was more pop.
A little too childish?
A little
would you
childish
say?
for me, but I was always ahead of my time. So I feel like I was thinking already 10 years ahead. I was like, this is not the sound. The sound is like more R&B, urban. And now we're hearing that music, but I was thinking that from like 10 years ago,
So going forward with the releases coming up, it's going to be R&B urban focus, because I really like
Pop
Diamonds.
R&B, yeah.
That was my favorite. That's my favorite song by you.
Thank you. Yeah, I just create music. So when I write a song, I write a song, maybe not just for myself, but maybe for another artist. So I just write good music. That's what I try to do. So if I take it and I use it, great. But for the most part, what I like to portray myself is pop R&B. That's the brand that I get behind. But if I'm writing for other artists, I feel like I can do everything.
If you could have any possible collab right now, who would it be?
Tory Lanez, for sure.
Tory.
I love Tory. I think he's so talented. Yeah.
Okay. All right, well, it's not too. That's usually I say that and someone will say something very far fetched, but you're getting up there to the point where that could possibly get it done. Any
sure.
steps to try and get that done? It's not. There's because I say that to say this. There's artists in the city in Toronto that have gotten Tory features, and
for sure.
You definitely could probably do it as well. So
yeah, no, definitely. He was actually supposed to be on a song that I have out now called Pull Up.
Okay.
He was supposed to be on that originally, but things just happened where he couldn't be the person on it, so I had to get somebody else.
Okay.
So I ended up getting Eric Bellinger, but I've interacted with Tory. I've seen him a few times in Miami, and I've just been around him, but I never said anything because I just always knew. I feel like he's just gonna.
It's gonna happen when it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen when it's gonna happen. He's around. We're gonna see each other.
Any features on the next project coming up? Anything that you would like to?
Not as of right now, but there's definitely a couple of people that I have in mind.
And you want to drop one or two, or are we gonna keep it?
No. I want to keep it a secret. Yeah, especially if no one's like confirmed.
No, 100%.
You want to wait till it happens.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you that camera right there.
Okay.
You can say a message to all your fans and tell them what to expect, and then we are going to move on to the two games I spoke about. So, that being said, floor is yours, camera's there, and
all right.
deliver your message.
Okay. Hey guys, it's Mandia. Be sure to follow me at Mandia Music. Thank you so much for having me today, and be sure to look out for my new song, One of the Boys.
With that being said, Christopher Wheeler from Capital Culture and Mandia. Rising star. I wish you all the best.
Thanks for having me.
We'll see you maybe when your next album drops. But
yes.
I think the star is the limit for you. So.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. You're so sweet.
All right,
Thank you.
ready to play these games?
Yes,
All
let's do
right,
it.
let's do it.